Alrighty, this is going to be the Phantom Knight combo to my deck profile. So we're going to give it a quick shuffle. Overall, you're going to end off with a pretty decent sized board. A couple negates. And a couple traps set on your field. Alrighty. So our first hand consists of Tour Guide, Boots, Cloak, Staingreaves, and a Shade Brigandine. We'll start by normal summoning our Tour Guide, activating effect to special summon a Fiend from our graveyard, from our deck. And its effects are negated, so Graph's effect won't activate to be destroyed by its own effect. Then we can link these two. Into our Cherubini. Cherubini's effect, Graph's effect, since it was sent to the graveyard, will special summon a Burning Abyss from our deck. Seer. Now we can activate Cherubini's effect, sending a card from our deck to the graveyard, and it'll gain the attack. That attack boost is not relevant. We'll send Torn Scales. We'll link these two to go into our Rusty Bardiche. Seer's effect will activate in the grave to special summon back our Cherubini. Our Rusty Bardiche, we can activate its effect, sending a card to set a card. We will send a Ragged Gloves, since we do have a Cloak in hand and a Silent Boots. And we would set off of the Rusty Bardiche, since we already do control our Shade Brigandine, we can set a Fog Blade. We could set our Shade Brigandine, and since we don't control a trap in our graveyard, we can actually activate it the turn it was set to special summon itself as a level 4. We'll activate our Ragged Gloves in our graveyard, banishing itself to send a Ancient Cloak. Torn Scales effect will activate since a Phantom Knight was banished. He can special summon himself from the graveyard. We have our Staingreaves in our hand, which can special summon itself if a Phantom Knight's name was special summoned as a level 4. So now we do control 2 level 4s. We can XC summon. Into our Raiders Knight. Rusty Bardiche's effect will activate if you're going second. Since a Dark Xyz monster was special summoned to his own opponents too, you'd be able to pop a monster. We'll activate Raiders Knight, detaching our Staingreaves. To special summon a rank higher or lower on top of Raider's Knight, we'll go into our Arc Rebellion. Then, since we control a Phantom Knights, we can special summon our Silent Boots through her own effect. We can now Xyz summon into our Levier. We can now activate Cloak's effect in our graveyard to get a Silent Boots for our next turn. Can activate Levier's effect, detaching a material, to special summon a banished card, which will be our Cloak. Our Cloak's effect will activate our Cloak's effect, targeting our Rusty Bardiche, changing it to defense mode. It'll gain 800. Then we can activate our Sangreaves from our graveyard, banishing itself, to special summon a Phantom Knights from our hand, which will be our Ancient Cloak. Now we will link these off. We'll go with these three, as into a link 4, into our access code talker. It'll gain 2000 attack from our Cherubini. Now we can activate our Silent Boots in our graveyard to banish itself, to get a spell or trap from our deck to our hand, which will be our Phantom Knight Sword. We'll set the sword, and that'll be the first test hand that we get. We ended off with a Rusty Bardiche, an Access Code Talker, Arc Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. We did have to leave a Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak in defense mode, which is fine. We also had a Fog Blade and a Swords. The Fog Blade can target a card, negate its effects, and it's going to stay on the field as long as that card is on the field. We have our Swords, targeting any of our monsters, and it gains 800 attack. And the first time it would be destroyed by battle, you could destroy this card instead. Alrighty, so we'll quickly move on to our second test hand, and we'll try to see what other board we can end off on. Most of the time, most hands can get you to a similar board like this, maybe without your extra Ancient Cloak or one of the traps, because Rusty Bardiche will tend to set our Shade Brigandine from our deck. We did open it this hand, so that's why we have the extra trap card. Alrighty, let's get into test hand number 2. Alrighty, we'll move on to test hand number 2. Once more, we'll just give it another quick shuffle. We'll cut it. And we'll draw. Alrighty, so this test hand comes out to a Cloak, Emergency Teleport, Monster Reborn, Twister, and Torn Scales. Alrighty, so overall this is a pretty decent hand. You're going to have extension with our Emergency Teleports, our Monster Reborn, and Cloak is not a brick in our hand because we do have the Torn Scales. And that is why I do run the third copy of Cloak, just because most of the time you're opening it with a discard. You could even discard it off of Twin Twister. Normal summon our Torn Scales, activate its effect, discarding our Cloak, sending our . Boots. Cloaks. We can activate Cloak's effect in a graveyard, banishing itself to get a Phantom Knights card. Which will be Boots. Since we do control a Phantom Knight's name, we could special summon our Silent Boots. Link these two. Into our Cherubini. Cherubini's effect to send our Graph to the graveyard. So we're pretty much going down the same path, but since we didn't open our tour guide, we'll have to send it with our Cherubini sending Graph. Graph's effect will activate to get our Seer from the deck. We can link these two back into our Rusty Bardiche. We can activate Bardiche's effect. I believe, no, it is the Phantom Knight, so it has to be one of our monsters. Sending our Ragged Gloves to the graveyard to set our Shade Brigandine. Seer's effect will activate in the graveyard to special summon our Cherubini back. Since I don't control any spell or traps in the graveyard, Shade Brigandine's effect will activate, allowing me to special summon it the turn it was set. We can now activate our Phantom Knights of Silent Boots to set a Fogblade. Hornscale's effect will activate in the graveyard. Since a Phantom Knights was banished, he can special summon himself. Okay, from here, we can activate Emergency Teleport. We just play a light Psychic package, which will be our tracker. It doesn't matter what you summon. From here, we'll go into our Break Sword. Rusty Bardiche's effect will activate, popping a monster on the field. It'll be a Break Sword. Break Sword's effect will activate since it was destroyed. It can special summon 2 Phantom Knights from our graveyard as level 4s. We will actually go from our Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves and our Shade Brigandine. Into a Raiders Knight. Raiders Knight effect will activate. Oh, we'll activate Raiders Knight, detaching the Shade Brigandine. We will go into Arc Rebellion. And it is gaining that at the 1000 attack from our Ragged Gloves. We can link these two. We can set one. We won't actually link these. We'll set the Twisters. Activate Monster Reborn. getting us back our it doesn't matter what we bring back, but our break sword will come back, and we can now link these two into our Nightmare Phoenix. So we did end off with a little bit of a different board. I did want to get as much attack points on the board so our Raiders Knight can activate its effect, gaining all the attack to OTK our opponent. That is 3,000 plus the Ragged Gloves effect. That's 4,000. That'd be 5, 6, and 7. So it's at 7,000 currently. Wait. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's currently at 10,000. We do have our Fog Blade also set. And then we do have our Twin Twister set. So when we do draw a card, which will be our Wielder, which is A-OK. If we needed more extension, we can. We can activate our Twin Twister, discarding this, destroying 2 spells on the field that our opponent controls. So that was combo number 2. Here quickly, we'll move into our last combo. And then I will show you the best you can do with a couple combos with our set test hands. Ready, so this will be our last test hand portion of the video. We're going to give it that last quick shuffle. We'll split. And we draw. Okay, we have Emergency Teleport, called by Reinforcements of the Army, Kagamusha Knight, and our Psychic Wielder. So we have a bunch of extension. So we can begin by activating Reinforcements of the Army, getting us our Torn Skills. We'll normal summon Torn Skills, chain Kagamusha Knight to special summon himself, activate Torn Skills effect, discarding our called by, sending our Cloak to the graveyard. Link these two. Once again into our Cherubini. Cherubini's effect. Once again sending our Graph. Graph's effect will activate. Special summoning is here. Link these two into our Rusty Bardiche. Bardiche's effect will activate. Sending our Boots. To set, once again, our Shade Brigandine. Since we don't control a trap in the graveyard, we can special summon Shade Brigandine the turn it was set. Now we'll activate our Cloak's effect in the graveyard, banishing itself, to get a Phantom Knights monster, which will be our Stained Graves. Torn Scales effect will activate since a Phantom Knights was banished. Could special summon him. Since a Phantom Knights was special summoned, we could special summon our Stained Graves. One more time, we will actually go into our Dark Rebellion. Detach. Then we will activate our Boots in the graveyard. banishing itself to get a Phantom Knight's spell or trap. So this time we will go into our Phantom Knights of Rank Up Magic. We will activate Phantom Knights of Rank Up Magic. It doesn't matter which you banish. I tend to banish our Graf or Seer, since it's just requiring a dark monster in our graveyard. So we'll banish Seer to rank up into a Dark Requiem, Xyz Dragon. Okay, from here we don't have much extension, so we will activate either or our Psychic Tracker or our Emergency Teleport. Special Summon Psychic Tracker, activate Emergency Teleport, getting us one more monster on board. Our Psychic Wielder. And then Seer's Effect will activate in our graveyard to special summon our Burning Abyss Cherubini. So there was a little bit of a misplay. You would want to banish your Graf and then your Seer so you can activate its effect. But that's okay. One more time, we will go into a rank 3. We're going to go into Leviair. Activate Leviair's effect, getting us our banished Cloak. Cloak's effect, targeting our Rusty Bardiche, changing it to defense mode, gains 800. And then we can now link these. Into our Access Code Talker. So this is kind of the same board as our first one. The only difference would be that instead of our Arc Rebellion, we have our Dark Requiem with 3 material underneath it. We do have our 1800 attack boost. And then we do have, once again, our Access Code Talker, which has 4,300 attack currently. Alrighty. That's all the combos that I have for test hands. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. And if you guys want more combo videos for Phantom Knights or a more in-depth reason on why I chose the cards I have in the deck, let me know and I'll get to it. Thanks for watching.